Nation, what's going on? You're watching the Raiders Report. Coming up here on today's show, we're going to get into the latest NFL news and Raiders rumors. We're going to talk about Cam Newton. I also want y'all to know that we're going to talk about some players that I think maybe the Raiders could sign, and then we're going to get into a Mel Kiper mock draft. I wouldn't be able to do today's show if it wasn't for our sponsor, Panda Supps. Head on over to pandasups.com. Use code Raiders, 25% off the best workout supplements on the market. Link's going to be available for you guys in the comments and in the description of today's video. So again, are the Raiders potentially interested in Cam Newton? It's something that we're going to be breaking down. He's at his pro day today with Auburn. We'll get into the latest around Mel Kiper's mock draft. Guess who he has the Raiders take him? And then a player that I believe now is just reinserted, Giggity, himself as a player that this team could absolutely go out and sign. Before I get into that, how about this? I always tell you guys to subscribe. I want you, if you're new watching the show, go down in the comments, find Cali Raider, find Martin, Cast Joey, Michael Yukon, MDB Super Dave. Ask anybody who's actually subscribed to the show, ask them why they sub. I guarantee you they're going to give you a good answer. An answer that's probably a lot better than anything I'm going to say. Take a second, join the Raiders Report family. So let's get in now to the latest here around Cam. He's thrown at Auburn's pro day today, and if you're on social media, it's like probably the top trending topic. Why? Because he's throwing the football, people are seeing it, and everyone's like, oh my gosh, Cam Newton is a top 32 quarterback. We know that the Raiders are still looking for a backup QB. They have Blaine Gabbert over the weekend in for a visit, and if you have Blaine Gabbert in on a visit, guess what? You're looking for something, right? Is Cam Newton better than Blaine Gabbert? That still remains to be seen. Also, he started 15 games for McDaniels and the New England Patriots back in 2020. If there is one thing that all Raider fans have learned from this NFL free agency period, it's if you played with McDaniels, sounds weird. If you've been underneath Dave Ziegler, also sounds weird, then there is a chance that the Raiders could potentially sign you. But Newton, on social media, said, hey, there's no way that 32 quarterbacks are better than me, which screams that he wants to play in the NFL. He believes that he deserves to, I guess, be a starter, right? There's no way 32 guys are better than me. So my question to every single one of you out there is Cam Newton still a top 32 quarterback? Let's have a real-life conversation. You're hanging out with your buddies. Is it Raiders related? No, but it might be because he's got that connection with McDaniels. So give me a Y for yes. Give me an N for no. Is Cam Newton a top 32 quarterback as it stands right now? I'll say this. I know there's going to be some people out there that say, yes, Cam is absolutely a top 32 guy. I'll say after the 2023 NFL draft, my answer on that is it's a hard no. Like, I haven't seen Cam look at a really high level in quite a long time. And you even look at last season, 0-5 as a starter. I mean, this guy, I do not think that he's a top 32 quarterback. And one of the biggest problems that he has right now is he has to rely more and more and more on his arm. He was never a great thrower. He was just a good thrower because teams respected his ability to be able to run with the football. So my question now obviously is will the Raiders actually show interest in him? And could the Raiders actually bring Cam Newton to Las Vegas? My answer on that is no. Zero just win, babies. Cam Newton will not be a member of the Las Vegas Raiders. I get it. They're looking for a backup. He might be better than Blaine Gabbert. But I actually don't think that Newton really fits into the McDaniels system because we already saw it one time. Newton was really bad in the McDaniels system back in 2020. Sure, those first few games, he looked incredible. I mean, he looked like he was a front runner for MVP. But then guess what happened? Teams got tape. Teams took away what they were doing, which realistically was only running the football and relying on a great defense. The offense you run with Jimmy Garoppolo compared to the offense that you run with Cam Newton, it doesn't make sense to me. And in that offense in 2020, 8 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. Sure, on the ground, he had 12 rushing touchdowns, 55 first downs, and he's always going to look really good as a runner. If I was Cam Newton's agent, okay, I would say the best thing that Cam should do right now is he should say, maybe I don't want to be a starter, but if you want to draft Anthony Richardson, everybody thinks that he's going to end up being me. Why not just have me groom him for a year? 2. That would be my pitch if I was Cam Newton or his agent. Also, though, when you think about Newton, the Patriots, they ranked 24th in red zone efficiency back in 2020. 54.1% of the time. That is the worst red zone offense Josh McDaniels has ever had. So you know that this guy was really bad in your offense. Why would you end up bringing him back? The Patriots scored 20.4 points per game, 27th all the way back in 2020. The worst offense that Josh McDaniel has ever constructed actually was at the helm of Cam Newton right here. That's just a cold, hard fact. So if they do still bring him back, the only way that I would use Cam, if I was running the Raiders, would be 3rd and 1, 4th and goal at the 1, and if they don't outlaw the play that the Philadelphia Eagles have mastered, where you get a quarterback, you put him under center, put 2 guys behind you, push forward for a first down. That, to me, is worth a $1 million contract. But when I hear Cam say he's not in the bottom or he's a top 32 guy, that tells me he either thinks he can start or he wants some legit backup money, which I'm sorry, I ain't doing. Coming up next here on the Raiders Report, we're going to get into a Mel Kiper mock draft reaction. I love mock drafts. I love this time of the year. I love free agency, but it's also the speculation. And when you have 12 draft picks like the Raiders do, and you don't really know what the future holds for your quarterback position, mock drafts are everything to me. Now, before I get into the mock draft reaction, I do want to tell you all that today's show, again, is presented by Panda Sups. And if you're trying to lose a few pounds, you're trying to get ready for beach season, I think a great product that Panda Sups has is the Burn. It's a fat burner. It's also known as Thermogenics on their website. You need a supplement that is a good substitute for coffee. Maybe an energy drink is going to wake you up a little bit, and you will burn fat just sitting at work. If you're like, you know what, Mitch, I need another meal replacement. I'm trying to get a good pump in after work, and I need some protein. You can try all their brand new protein flavors. PandaSups.com. Use code Raiders. 25% off. It's going to be available for you guys in the comments and in the description of today's video. All right, so let's talk about Mel Kiper and his 3rd mock draft that he released. Here are the first 6 picks. Bryce Young off the board at number 1. C.J. Stroud off the board at number 2. Will Levis off the board at number 3 after Indianapolis trades up. So already 3 quarterbacks are gone. Will Levis for Anthony Richardson at number 5 to Seattle. Jalen Carter off the board at number 6. So take a good look at that mock. The first 6 picks, let's say we're sitting there in April. Roger Goodell walks up to the podium and he goes, with the 7th pick of the 2023 NFL Draft, the Las Vegas Raiders select. Who would you take? You're sitting there in the war room with Ziegler. You're sitting there in the war room with McDaniels. They look at you and they go, hey, Brandon Jasper, who do you want to take? Which guy are you going with? Because this scenario to me that went down in this mock, I do think there is a legitimate chance that 3 QBs go in the first 3 picks. I also think there's a good chance that all 4 QBs are gone by number 7. And if there is somebody still available at 7, maybe it's a Will Levis. Maybe it's an Anthony Richardson. I see some people spam and trade back for those watching live. And then I see Mark Snead says Chris Gonzalez. Well, guess what, Mark? You're going to be a happy camper because that's exactly who Mel Kiper ended up going with. And Gonzalez out of Oregon, you want a high upside corner? To me, he is the best cornerback in this year's class. I love everything that he is doing. I love everything that he brings. He's got the speed. He's got the athleticism. He's got the length. And realistically, he's still kind of learning the position a little bit. So the upside is 100% there. This is what Mel Kiper had to say on why he decided to go with Chris Gonzalez at number 7. In this scenario, the Raiders don't get any of the top 4 quarterbacks, forcing them to go with the best prospect available. They added the solid but unspectacular Jimmy Garoppolo in free agency, so it's not like they have a void under center as big as the Colts, Texans, and Panthers do. They also have a veteran roster, and you could argue they should try to win now. The player who can most help them win in 2023 is Gonzalez, who ran a blazing 4.38 second 40-yard dash at the Combine, backing up what I saw on his 2022 tape. At 6'1", he has outstanding ball skills and elite recovery speed. This is a clear need area for the Las Vegas Raiders. Chris Gonzalez is a do-it-all corner. He's long, he's lanky, he's got the weight. 51 tackles last season for the Ducks, 4 interceptions, 7 pass breakups. And like I said before, he's still kind of learning the position. Is it a big-time need for the Raiders? There is no freaking doubt about it. With Rock Ya-Sin still testing free agency, Nate Hobbs, who we all have confidence in, but there's part of me that wonders, should he go back inside of the slot where he excelled as a rookie? Yes, I like Amit Robertson. Brandon Faison is a good depth guy. But realistically, to me, you still need your top 2 cornerbacks, right? Like, Nate Hobbs can be that dude. But you still need 2 other legit cornerbacks to add to this team. And Chris Gonzalez, he helps you do that. So how happy would you be about this move? Or would you be kind of upset? Like, I get that there's people out there that would want you to trade back. I don't hate the trade back idea either. If I'm the Raiders, yeah, I get it. I already got 12 picks. But if I can stockpile, I'm all about it. In terms of just Chris Gonzalez, I can't even say it. At number 7, how would you do it? A, B, C, D, or F? For me personally, it's an A grade. I love this young man. It's a big-time need. And honestly, it's probably best player available on my board. So you take care of a need. You get a corner that's going to be able to help you out right away. And you're going to get a young man that you can build this team around for a very, very long time. Next story up here on the Raiders Report is a player that I believe that the Raiders could sign. We got the O.J. Howard one right. There's going to be a player on tomorrow's show that I also think that the Silver and Black could potentially come in and try to get. If you want to see who it is, then just give me like 60 seconds real quick. If you haven't already interacted with me on social media, what are you waiting for? If you want to join some of the GOATs over on Locals, it's RaidersReport.locals.com. I've been trying to go live Monday, Wednesday. It depends what my schedule is. But nonetheless, if you want to get to know me and a lot of the diehard fans of this show, that's where you need to go. So one of the players that we've been continuing to be bringing up here on the show, Andrew Van Ginkel. He had a visit with the Raiders over the weekend. No contract was signed. And then he signed with the Miami Dolphins today. One of the reasons why I thought Van Ginkel was a player to absolutely keep in mind, yes, he had those ties with Brian Flores, hence the ties with McDaniels, hence the ties with Josh McDaniels. But also on top of that, he was a linebacker / defensive end that could drop back into coverage. One of my quotes that I remember pulling up here on this show around Ziegler was they wanted to be able to have defensive ends who could provide versatility, who could drop back into coverage. The number one player that comes to my mind now is Kyle Van Noy. I really think that the Raiders are going to say, okay, we didn't get Andrew Van Ginkel. Can we turn our attention to Van Noy? Van Noy is not nearly what he at one point was, but he's played in multiple schemes on the New England Patriots. He's also been with multiple coaches that have connections to both of these guys. And then on top of that, yeah, he can still get after the quarterback. He can drop back into coverage. He is a very versatile defensive end that I do truly believe would be a good fit in the Patrick Graham system. And on top of that, has that relationship, and that's what this Raiders organization looks for. Can you buy into what they're preaching? Because if you can, you got a good shot at making this roster this season.